very good day to all of you. My name is Deeksha. I am back again, your content queen, with another episode of CEO Chronicles, where every week we interview a charismatic, magical CEO who has scaled up his business from nothing. So these are stories about people who have done great in business. And today I'm super proud to be having Mr. Nader Amiri, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Grocer, which is an e-commerce grocery store based out of Dubai. And he helps us get our ingredients at home through his lovely product, his app. So let's get cracking. Welcome aboard, Nader. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me, Diksha. I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. All right. As discussed, okay, I want to know, how did you think about starting Grocer in the first place? I think you were the first person to bring about this concept of e-groceries. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think before I started in Grocer, I did my career in FMCG. So I've been with the likes of Unilever, Kraft Foods, Coca-Cola, and I've always enjoyed that industry. But there came a time I said, okay, I want to someday do my own business. So what are the steps I need to take, to get there one day? And I started by doing some angel investments in some startups, whether it was tech or e-commerce, to start learning, how to get into that field, with some of them a bit more involved in terms of advisory or strategic support and all of that. And until I built up, a bit more of know-how, a bit more of confidence as well, to say, okay, now it's the time to go and do something on my own. And while I was thinking about that, realized that within the FMCG industry, e-commerce wasn't something that is big, and it was getting already, this is 2015, it was something that is getting bigger in, other industries, other verticals. Whether it is restaurant delivery was starting to pick up other industries, electronics. Okay, why don't we have this why can't I get my milk delivered? So I started doing some research, found that there are a handful of players internationally. In India, there was Big Basket. In the US, there was Instacart. So, okay, that concept works. It means that it has legs to operate in the Middle East as well. So started in the UAE and Grocer. Spoke to a couple of friends. They were very encouraging. They said, yes, if you start this, we will invest with you, we will support you. So that kind of gave more of a motivation to go and do that. And that's when I started in Grocer, basically.
Wonderful. So what did you exactly start off with? Let's get deep down. So today you thought you're going to be doing this. Your friends got in, said, we'll pull in investment. What's the first thing you did?
I think the first thing I did was within the group that we were saying, okay, what is the support and the role that each person will bring in? I think that was important in terms of having a right team set up. I mean, one of the key people was, for example, my partner, Ryan, who was the CEO. So he came with the technical experience, with the general management experience. I brought in more the business development, sales, marketing, strategy experience. So it was really, and we started putting together a team of, whether it was full-time or advisors. I think that was the first step. Like, who are the people that will drive this business?
Sure, that's interesting. So what was your original model? Was it about having an app where people could order, or what was it like altogether?
Yeah, I think the original model was to connect potentially smaller stores, neighborhood stores, to people around you. That was already an established habit in the UAE, that we call up stores and order. So we said we can convert that online. To our surprise, it started off well, but to our surprise, what actually picked up more and helped the curve shoot up was when we started onboarding supermarkets and hypermarkets. Yes, there are platforms that do well, maybe with smaller stores, but maybe it was the way we were positioning our brand, maybe it was the way we were marketing things. But we found that we were attracting that kind of audience, and we were kind of providing them with the supers. It gave us a bigger basket size. It gave us a full basket experience. But that was the moment where we kind of switched from saying we will connect stores, smaller neighborhood stores, to saying, okay, that will be there, but what will be the driver of growth or the driver of experience from a customer point of view was, having the mid and larger size stores. That was originally the model, connecting the stores to people, getting delivery. Part of the original model was not to do the deliveries ourselves, but to rely on the stores. But where we found the gap actually was that no, there is a need for us to support those businesses with our own delivery as well. So that was an area we didn't have any expertise in. None of us had logistics, so we had to go and learn it. So we learned it the hard way. We did some pilots, we did some mistakes along the way. We found out that, hey, to deliver larger orders, you need cars and not motorbikes. That is common in food or restaurant delivery. So we kind of learned a lot of these things along the way to kind of provide additional services to our partners, whether it was, delivery, whether it was data analysis, whether it was, picking services to some of the larger stores. So we kind of continued building on the model to have additional services. That's in essence what we still provide today. On top of that, what we also do is we started seeing a trend of dark stores in different sizes, with the start popping up. Why that was important was to give a customer an even better experience, because when you order from a store, whether it's a neighborhood or a larger store, there are walk-in customers, the stock accuracy may have issue, the picking, there may be some gaps in the picking and so on due to the rush. But when you pick from what was typically called the dark store, like the cloud kitchens kind of concept, but for grocery, was more that you can provide a better experience. So we aimed for that. We said, a lot of the things that maybe some of the partners cannot deliver, we will do that ourselves. We cannot deliver in terms of experience, I mean. So we said we'll have the dark store where people can have a more experiential, zero error, zero kind of issue. And then our historic aggregator model remains, but that is more for the speed. I need something quick. I need something from a retailer that I know this retailer has it. So that becomes kind of a complementary model to what we have done. So that's how we kind of evolved the business over the years.
That is interesting. That is really interesting. But you know what? I've caught in a few points from our conversation, and one of which is you mentioned dark stores. What are dark stores? Tell me about this. I don't know what cloud kitchen for groceries is about. What is this?
Absolutely. So the dark store is a small or large or medium or large store. It's a store set up in one way or another, where there is no walk-in customers. So it's set up similar to a supermarket, but there's no walk-in customers. It's just a closed store with in-warehouse or in-store operation, but there's no walk-in customers. It's only for delivery.
Okay. Brilliant. So you started creating dark stores?
Yeah. We started after we were acquired, which is a different story. That's when we always had the idea that we needed the capital. So that's when we said, once we had the capital, we said, yes, this is an additional kind of element to our business model. We need to keep evolving. We cannot stay rigid in what we
Absolutely.
are. We know there is a trend to provide a better experience. That better experience is provided because there is no walk-in customers. The stock accuracy is 100%. The quality control is 100%. The control over the delivery process is 100%.
So that is amazing. So now let's talk about how the business grew. Okay. See, Nader, what year did you guys start off in actually?
We did our beta pilot in 2016. We launched from early to mid 2017.
Okay. So let's say
before COVID.
Sure, nice. So let's say you started in 2017. We're 6 years since you guys started, okay? So six long years. And every business, has these inception years that are difficult, okay? It's difficult to get on, spread the word and so on. But El Grocer has become really popular, okay? In really less time, I would say. In 6 years, I know a lot of people know about the brand. How is it that you invested in marketing? Okay, and I'm asking this for the people who are listening to us, or perhaps into e-commerce as well. How is it that you recommend people invest in their marketing? Okay, because number one, initially they have smaller capital, and their whole issue is, listen, we'll increase our sales and then invest in marketing. What are your thoughts? And tell me what all did you do to popularize El Grocer so much?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we say that we're most proud of is that we have been self-funded till the moment we sold the business. The thing that helped us do that is that because we've treated and effectively every dollar we spent from the business was our own. On one hand, we were careful about that. We took risks. We wasted some money. We did a lot of mistakes, but we learned along the way. I think what helped us, popularize, as you said, was picking the right customer segment. I think that's one of the key things. One of the things that people rush into is that they're just marketing a problem to a general audience, or marketing, a solution to a problem to a general audience. So we said, listen, we cannot talk to everybody. Let's pick what type of customers from behavioral point of view we feel we can serve best, we understand best. We took that and then we kind of built on top of that, rather than say, we're going to talk to everyone. No, we're going to talk to this audience and then build from there. Okay, what's the next type of audience? What are the next type of occasions we can build on? So choosing the right customer segment, marketing in a sharp way, the right message, the right channels, the right approach to that was very important. The second thing was really doing things that don't necessarily need a budget, right? There's a lot of great stuff like, which I'm sure you're very familiar of, which comes to SEO, doing good content, really building the brand with owned media, with earned media, linked to your customer base. Again, once you define your customer base, it becomes easy to come up with content ideas or do the right approach in terms of SEO, ASO. What's the organic marketing? What are the partnerships that you can do that can help, reinforce this focus on the customer? So that helped really build a strong organic base. The third is then the service, right? Once you're delivering, once you're doing that service, the importance of doing that service in such a strong way that people become your advocates. I mean, up until even right before COVID, 40-50% of our traffic based on surveys and so on was based on word of mouth. We never had huge budgets. We had some budgets to experiment with, to learn, to do some important campaigns. But I think what really helped us was, that small budget helped us amplify already what we understood about the customer.
So I think here's the first golden nugget. I absolutely agree when you say that a lot of people have a very generalized audience, and this is where e-commerce businesses kind of just sit and then they don't grow unless and until we define an audience. Because see, no matter what we're selling, even if we are selling something as simple as water, okay, water, you have sparkling water, you have still water, you have so many other oxygenated water, and all of them
premium, affordable, mass, low sodium, no sodium.
Absolutely. So every little thing has an audience. So targeting that audience, getting the messaging right, and ensuring this message reaches the right audience through certain channels is great. What all channels? So we've talked about SEO, that is you're doing SEO and you were doing content. But what all other channels in social media did you use that you saw helps your business grow quite a lot?
I think we've used the typical channels at the time, right? When we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, obviously, Facebook, Instagram gives the reach, gives the visualization. That helped, that helped us refine our messaging. We did a lot of A/B testing, with a lot of small campaigns with small budgets to learn what resonates. Is it occasion-based marketing? Is it, product-based marketing? Is it emotional marketing? Is it about the speed? Is it about the convenience? So that helped us, test a lot of messaging that we then amplified within in-app content, within, further bigger campaigns. One of the campaigns that I remember, it's very, very small, very tactical campaign, but really caught on buzz was, the rainy days in Dubai are rare. And that was, I think it was 2017 or 18. I don't remember exactly when, but it was one of those rare days that it rained. And we said, okay, that's a great day to, talk about grocery delivery. You're home, you don't want to go out. So we did a tweet about it with the right hashtags, with the right keywords. And it was picked up by Twitter and, trending, get your, and at that time there was no grocery delivery. So it was like, get your groceries delivered while there's rain, we're delivering, our team is delivering, blah, blah, blah. So it's resonated with that moment. Twitter is very good. Again, using that each channel with the right. So Twitter is about moment marketing. There was a moment, we average it that way. Facebook, Instagram are about, refining, learning, what kind of message resonates with the customer before amplifying. So we use it that way. So these, obviously, we're talking about Google SEM as well. that is more for audience looking for something.
Yes,
So again, the
yes.
right keywords. So each channel, I think what we did was, yes, we had a small budget and it was not really about spending or marketing ourselves, but really using each channel in a simple way that resonates best with that channel.
Very nice, very nice. So I think this is very important as well because a lot of people focus their interests on one or two channels. It's really important that for better market penetration, you have an omni-channel approach when you're
Absolutely.
going out. I think that's wonderful. Now,
And you don't need to do sorry, and you don't need to do everything all the time. It's
yeah,
about having that kind of calendar or phasing or pipeline to say, I will do this is the right moment to use this. This is the right time to use that. Budget, will be very tight. So it's really spreading it, but in a conscious way.
very nice, very nice. Now, my favorite questions in my CEO Chronicles series. Every business has this 1 year of breakthrough, okay, where you feel that you've actually, you're climbing the J curve, you're just getting up there. This thing has done magic. What are some of the top, maybe three things that happened in that one particular year for you? Number one, which was that year? What changed and what brought up, that whole J curve, that whole growth in L Grocer as such?
I think admittedly so, it was not something necessarily that we did, but I think we were well positioned to take advantage of. Sometimes you can do something and that works and clicks, fantastic. Sometimes you have to be ready for that moment to come. And for us, it was COVID, right? When COVID came, it was our moment. And luckily, we were there. A lot of the big players who are there now were not there. We were ready. Yes, we were not ready for that volume, but we were there. We were present. We had the team. We had the infrastructure. There were multi-billion-dollar companies crashing. There were multi-billion-dollar companies not able to, kind of had to shut down. But we kept going. Despite the challenges, yes, there were delays, there were issues, but we kept going. We kept serving the customer. It was an essential service. We were there at the right time, and we learned a lot. I mean, we were planning to have that kind of business maybe in 2 years' time, or maybe even 3 years' time. But suddenly, in
It was a
months,
dynamic change. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we were there. We learned a lot. We did a lot, and I think that helped us shape the company quicker and better to be more resilient for the future.
Right. And when did you get acquired? When did this happen? When did you sell the brand?
January last year, January 2022 is when we concluded the sale of the Grocer to Etisalat, so by the end. And that was, after several months of very positive discussions with the team, having discussed, our shared vision, our shared appetite. What they liked about us was that we're nimble, we're quick. We were not, overinflated when it comes to size. We were, well positioned. We had the base and the foundation, having been self-funded, and kind of, using we had the car, that example I like to give, and they came in to give us the fuel so that we can, accelerate and drive quick.
And how has this acquisition as such helped you? I mean, unleash new possibilities. This whole dark kitchen thing, dark store thing that you talked about, or you're talking about having your own people to do deliveries and so on. So you're coming up with a lot of these innovative solutions, etc. Has this been mostly after the acquisition happened, when you had more capital that got fueled in, and then you were like, okay, now we can do this?
We had a lot of ideas, but we didn't have the resources to do them. So I think that was, we were ready to go. It wasn't that, okay, we need to think, what should we do now? Like, no, we know what we need to do. We can do it quick. We know when we hire X number of people, this is how the team should be structured. These are the additional business models we should launch. These are the technological improvements. These are the operational improvements. So a very clear pipeline that we had, previously been restricted maybe by a resource, whether it being a human resource or a capital resource. So once we had that, we were able to quickly ramp up.
Very nice. And at what point in time did you decide that you wanted to sell off? The reason I'm asking this is One is, we're all watching shows like Shark Tanks and so on, and we feel that okay, if we're starting out, we need investment, okay, and that every
Absolutely.
business needs an external source of investment. So that's one myth, okay.
Yeah,
And then the other thing is that we can only grow when we have external capital fueled in. I want
absolutely.
you to
No,
talk
I
about
think
your experience in this matter.
absolutely. I think see external capital. I mean, capital external. However you get it is important. Right? It's what gives that initial
Push.
push, initial ability to do things.
Yeah.
So definitely, I would say without capital, not that it's not possible. It depends on the amount of capital. Sometimes too much capital. We have seen a lot of startups fail because they had too much capital and they ended up wasting it. So I think having the right capital at the right time is important. For us, I think it was about having the right partner. Initially, when we started the discussion, it was about partnership or a strategic partnership or a joint venture, whatever it is, but it turned out to be acquisition. It was a time where we either had to raise big or get an acquisition. And for us, there was a very good fit. So we said, at this juncture, having been self-funded, most of our investors being angel investors, rather than institutional investors, sorry, it was the right time for us to say, rather than potentially raise a bigger round and have a bigger risk, bigger return, bigger risk in the future, for our investors, for ourselves, I think this allows us to see off the rest of our vision, the rest of our plans, me and Rafi, while for the other investors, it's a nice exit them being individual. So it was a kind of right moment where this happened as well.
Okay, interesting. But do you recommend e-commerce businesses going out for investments
I think, like I said, I think at the right time, yes,
at the
I
right
think
time?
you need to be ready, right? Because getting out external investment, there's different types. There's early stage, there's individuals,
Yeah, of
there's a
course, you
lot
have
of different
angels, you
types.
have seed rounds and so on,
A
everything.
lot of
Yes.
different early on you want friendly investors, whether they're individuals or VCs, but you need the early stage friendly people that will
Right.
support you and help you structure the business rather than slow you down. So that's important. If you get in, even if you're doing great, but you get a demanding investor, and investors have every right to be demanding because they're going to give you money, right? They're going to give you time, they're going to give you exposure, they're going to give you all of that. If you're not ready to satisfy the investor, short term, long term, I think it's a watch out saying no, when you are ready to take on that pressure, when you're ready to take on that challenge and drive it further with the right amount. Some people say, I'd rather be on the safe side and raise more because I can. It
Sure.
shouldn't be the case. It should be that, yes, to be safe is good, but at what cost? There's always a cost for that. Even if
Of
it's not
course.
financial,
Yeah,
there's a different kind of cost of that.
indeed. No, I completely agree. See, there's a cost to everything. Again, when you have more people, you have more people taking a decision, right?
Absolutely.
So when it's just yourself, you know that it's your vision, etc. When you're selling off a stake, also, you have to be mentally
Yep.
prepared that you're selling out a decision-making power, to the other
Absolutely.
person. So how mentally ready are you, and how important it's something to really consider. Okay,
Yeah.
now this is something that really concerns me about the growth of e-commerce businesses. Um, is the cost of logistics in today's date. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with this issue of return and refund, okay, if at all you
Sure.
don't like something, you're returning it and all that. Then there's a cost involved. There's obviously a transport, etc., all of that. And with groceries, especially the second challenge you have is pilferage. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so things get spoiled. And how do you manage to remain profitable?
So basically, luckily in our business, this isn't a big problem. We're not like the standard e-commerce where I order, I'm getting it the next day. It's a big delivery window. No, the delivery window is next 60 minutes, next this hour of time slot. So the chance of someone not being there is extremely low because it is being ordered now, kind of. So that is not there. In groceries, the chance of having, errors when it comes to picking or quality is lower because we have the ability to control in terms of picking.
Right.
We train the stores. If the store is doing their picking, a lot of stores ask for our pickers. If you remember saying we improvised on our business model. The larger stores with the larger orders that have many items, we have our own pickers managed by our own logistics team. So not to say that there aren't, returns
Right.
or issues, but
Right.
it is significantly lower. And we have a customer service team that helps fulfill that. We have, we're automating a lot of those processes, so it's much quicker, much smoother. That helps, minimize that cost for it to be something that is quite manageable rather than something that impacts the P&L, as opposed to traditional e-com businesses.
But how about pilferage? How do you deal with that?
Pilferage, again, see, from when we're working with the stores, that's something the store controls. So there's a clear checkout security process that goes out from the store as if a normal customer was shopping, right? And because it is our staff, obviously there's a far bigger control than someone unknown walking in and doing that. Similarly, from our dark store, because there's no walk-ins, there's a very tight security measure around it. And everything becomes very easily traceable with technology. Who picked the order, who delivered it, what happened, is there a further investigation needed? Luckily, we haven't been in a position where we need to do any serious amount of investigation. There have been, a couple of minor cases here and there, and they were all quickly resolved.
Very nice. Oh, I think this is so insightful because, e-commerce businesses, number one, are not easy. Satisfying customers, especially so many customers, etc., coming up with these queries is not
It's
easy.
not.
Okay, it's not easy. And then again, managing to remain profitable in such a situation is not easy. Okay, so now I'm coming to my last question. That is, what are your top 3 business lessons that Grocer has taught you that if you were to start any other business today, you would definitely use?
Absolutely. I think the first one was, if you have an idea that you really believe in, go do it fast, do it quick. Don't hesitate. Yes, there is risk. There is risk in everything. There is risk of not doing it and then regretting. Do it fast. I would say that is the first lesson that I learned. Potentially, if I were to do it again, I would do it sooner. I would do it quicker. I think the second was something that I have done and I would do again and better, was how to have the right team. We had a great team when we did it that allowed us to be resilient, that allowed us to have the right expertise. I would look at how can I build the right team that is able to do this. The team can be of investors, and there's always ways to do it better. So I always say having the right team is like having that kind of wall you can have your back on, whether it's tough times and the push that you can get when it's good times to go and drive things. I think the third one is related to capital. Definitely raising money is important. It is something that takes time. Whatever you anticipate, I would say anticipate it taking longer. So make sure your business, what you are doing, is able to sustain and manage with that in mind, so you're not in a tight spot. Build the business in a way that I'm going to get funding much later. How do I make sure I'm sustainable? How do I make sure I'm resilient? How do I make sure I can, get through the good and the bad times without overspending? Times are good, without, being in a tight position and not being able to innovate or do something different, even if it's tight.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Brilliant, Nader. It was so amazing having this lovely chat with you. I think the insights that you shared, especially in terms of capital investment, this whole management process, and your whole evolution. I think what Grocer is doing is superb. Good luck to you. I wish that this brand grows leaps and bounds. And guys, if anyone has any interesting questions for Nader, you may check him out on LinkedIn, Nader Amiri. Please follow him. He's an amazing person. He keeps doing different gigs at different sessions. So it's really nice to hear him out. Thank you so much, Nader, for your time. And my viewers, until next time, please take care and let me help you scale up your business. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure.